Okay?
Well, they sure collect bees in there good.
Well, I didn't really check them that good. Oh, what I do is, like I say, I put that together there, and then your bottom is empty. Then I make the top one. If you don't put 10 frames in here, if there's a crack in there like that, when they come in here, they will stick to the top of that lid every time. So you have to have 10 frames in there to keep them from sticking to the top of your lid there. You go out and you check them, you'll eventually see bees coming in and out the door there. And I check them about every 2 weeks. And then whenever I open them up, I look in here. If you'll notice these old frames here, they still got some old gum down through there, and they got the wires in there. And I leave all of that in there. And when they draw out, they'll draw out perfectly down through all of this. And so if you don't leave them wires in there, what you do, you pick it up like this, and then you'll turn it up to look at it, and it'll swing out there and break off and fall down there. And then, if you're like me, then you cuss, and you don't want to do that. I knew a guy had a top bar when we tried to work that. That was the awfulest thing I ever seen in my life. But we found 5 queens in that thing that was crawling around, and 7 tubes in there for other queens there. And then it died out. But I just use old frames like this. And if you want to, in the top here, if you want to put a strip, cut some strips of foundation and put in there, that works real well. They'll draw out from it down. Or you can just leave it like that, and they will draw down through there. My outside tube, I put them in there for just so that they'll have something to work off if once they draw back to them, it'll help them get a start on there. Also, it gives off a little smell there, not much to it. And so the biggest thing is once you start seeing bees coming in and out there, if you mess with her very much, she'll leave on you. But if you wait and watch her there until she starts growing down and she starts having babies there, then she'll stay so that you can handle her. So once I know that she has little ones in there, and what I do is I'll take the head on there and I'll smoke them and blow them down into the bottom there, most of them. And then I take this off, and now I've got a good box, this bottom box there, and I move these over on there. And any of these that she hasn't started to draw out honeycomb on, I'll put a frame in there already drawn out because it helps her out in the long run there. And then you just move her down the bottom. And once you put her down the bottom, I work on one deep there. Then I put a clean screw over top of this and put a medium on top of it. And I let them, then they go to work there. And they'll draw it out. I put out these out about the middle of April. That's when I first started putting them out. And then I draw them in somewhere at the end of June, or July, end of July there. Because like Travis said, the first swarms coming off are the bigger swarms. And then each time they come off, they seem to be smaller and smaller. And by the end of June, they don't have enough time to make, to draw all this out and make enough to get them through the winter. So I pull mine in about the end of June there and stack them in the house there. One year I said, well, I'll just leave them out there and they'll be all right. And so I came back the next spring and every one of them had a rat in it. So that's the reason why you pull them in, because if you don't, the rats will make a home in there in a minute. I find that you can put them out around a tank, a pond. Someplace that's got water is a good place to set them up at. If you're on a land that's rolling type, put them on the hills. The higher elevations seem to attract them more so than the bottom of there. Last year I put out 26 hives, 26 boxes, and I caught 21 hives. And this year I put out 43 boxes and I caught 1 hive, and I caught that at the house there. So my bees are not moving on the swarm there. Also,
are you counting this one too?
Well, I don't know where these guys come from. I got a big bunch of bees around my house. They come there, and so I catch them there. But about 8 or 9 years ago, I was about to quit. I was buying bees from Mississippi, and I spent $3,000 a year on bees, and I would buy bees in the fall of the year, and then by October they would be gone there. And so after about $8,000, I said, I'm gonna quit, going home. But I noticed that I had bees in some of these boxes, and so I started working with them there. And that's why I say if you don't put 10 frames in there, they'll stick to the top. Every once in a while, even in this condition here, she'll catch up on the bottom there. They'll draw from the bottom down there. So it's not a guarantee there, but very subtle one there. One time they drew and went straight across the hive this way. This is the darndest thing I've ever seen there. So they pretty well do what they want to, but the main thing is that once you see bees coming in and out of the entrance there, be real gentle with them until you can see that she's drawing foundation out and they're having bees in there, babies in there. Then you can control her then, but after that you can't do nothing with her. She'll leave on you in a minute there.